Good evening to you. I've been like searching for the last 10 minutes. I've been searching up and down. I made a really big mess, but never mind. I'm here. I was looking for these beautiful hematite cabochons because for a really long time now I wanted to work out a way how we can quickly and like effectively, so it would look nice, to encase cabochon or a series of cabochons. I'm talking about smaller cabochons here. The largest one is I think 30 mil, and some of them are smaller as well. So if you want to make a necklace, excuse Roxy squeaking in the background, I'm going to turn you down and show you these beautiful cabs. Now let me just find, there we go. So they all sorts of different sizes, and I want to work out a way how we can have something. You can see the reflection in them. They're so shiny. I want to work out a way how we can work out a quick covering, and I got a couple of ideas, and I kind of want to work out, like, because we got all different sizes, so you can pick up loads of different Roxy, stop squeaking, love. All different, and then she just squeaks more. It's like a child. When you say don't do that, they just do it even more. I want to work out how we can apply this technique to all sorts of different sizes at the same time. So we kind of need to work out some rules. I think I'm going to start with size 11s. Might have to go down to size 15. Maybe we use a pearl or a crystal or something in with it as well to give it a bit of a feature. But what I'm thinking is we're going to start with one round of beads, and we're kind of going to extend from that towards the other side. But I want to just very quickly going to pull up the size of these cabochons, because they're all sorts of different sizes and I don't want to guess them. I want to give you the exact size. It's like when you don't want her to squeak, she squeaks. So 25 by 18 is the largest one, which is this one. Then we got 16 by 12, which I think is that's the one, no, that's the one down. So that's the 16 by 12, and there is a size in between which is 20 by 15 and 25 by 18. No, that must be the 25 by 18. Let me just get my trusty little ruler out here. No, yeah, this is 25 by 18. So the largest one is, let me just write this down actually, so I will remember, because otherwise I'm going to have to look it up again. So we got all sorts of different sizes here. So the second one is 25 by 18, is 30 by 22 mil is the largest one. Then we got 16 by 12, and then it goes down even more, 16 by 12, the thing 16 by 12 as well. Let me just go right. I'll find out the size of the smaller one. I don't know if it's even on the website because I can't really see it. So we got those three sizes, and there is a smaller size, this one right down at the bottom. So if I pull this in, that's the smaller size. There's 4 sizes there. We figure out what's the sizes of that. So what I'm wondering is that could we apply a rule, like for example, if it's 30 mil, we start with 30 beads, or if it's 25 mil, we start with 25 beads. Although the pattern I would like to do, I think we do need, we're gonna need even numbers to get around it and kind of sort of branch off. Or maybe we could do 3s as well. 3s would work if it's so it would be 30. 25 is divided by 5, not 3. We will work it out. We will work it out definitely. So I'm just looking, have we got cabochons and rivolis? And if I go in from there on the website, there is so much stuff on the website. Sometimes I just I just get lost. I just want to get the smallest size. I don't think it's on the website. So we got or 20 by 15 I missed. So this is 16 by 12. So that's that 20 by 15 and 16 by 12 is the smallest one. Okay, cool. So shall we test the theory that I'm going to test it on the largest one. So if we start with 30 beads, I'm going to grab some beads to go with that. I think that probably will be a nice color. And then we're going to branch off from that. Good evening, Michelle. Nice to see you. Good evening, Linda. Just sorry I'm late. I only just started. So we're going to be playing with cabochons. And I wanted to do this. I wanted to work out a way how we can have sort of a quick rule if we want to encase a cabochon and do it in an arch. I'm going to grab some 3mm pearls as well. Roxy's just right behind me, lovey. Hold on. You can go and sit back down in a second. Let me just be able to, I need to be able to open this up, sweetheart. Right, 3mm pearl. I'm gonna go for either that one or that one. I think maybe that nice lighter color will be better than the darker one. So, want to see if sort of the method in the madness works. Because if we can work out a rule, then we can not just use it for this, but we can use it for all sorts of different cabochons. So, I'm just going to thread my needle. I might need a new needle because that one is really, really bent. Let's have another one. There we go. So good evening, Rachel. Nice to see you here. Good evening, Ruth. Now, let me know what you've been up to for the last 3 weeks. Haven't been live for the last 2 weeks. I was supposed to have the last 2 weeks off. Didn't kind of work out like that, but never mind. It's all good. We had a lovely time at Easter, although I was painting the kitchen. Just wanted to freshen it up. It's like when I could relax, I was like, ooh, there is some fingerprints on the wall. It's like, you know, when the kids sort of walk past and they have to put the fingerprints on everywhere because like you can't put your shoes on just by like sitting down. You have to put your shoes on by the wall and put your hand on the wall like that. So I wanted to get rid of all those fingerprints, and so that's what I was doing Easter. So I'm going to pick up, this is a 30 by 22 mil, so I'm going to pick up 30 beads and we see how we go. So that's 5, 10. Let me know what you've been up to during Easter. 15. We missed you, Kitty. Wednesday evening, just friend the same. Oh, bless you. To be honest, it's gone past so quick. The last 2 weeks just really flew by. Like, I don't even know what happened. Christopher's back to school now. And Lucy will be back next week and we'll be back to normality. 20, 25 and 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 30 seed beads. So if I take this down, and I kind of need enough to, it's nowhere near enough. So we need to, if we added this into a circle, it would make a very small circle, and we need kind of bigger one. So what would happen if, so there's 30 mil by 22 mil that way. So if I added another 22 beads on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we are up to 40. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Another 22. So we got the length and the width in size 11 seed beads. I think that then becomes too big. It perfectly fits around it almost, but we need it kind of, I think, a little bit smaller. So maybe if you use size 15s, that would be the right approach. So I don't think you can take the number in millimeters and pick up seed beads to go around it. So we kind of just gonna have to guess it. So maybe a rule of thumb, if I say 40 beads, so I'm gonna take 12 off. So it's just sort of, it will sit inside it. 4, 8, and another 4 more. So I got 40 on now. I'm gonna go through from the tail end. Oh no, what did I do here? I think I skipped a bead. And now I got a little knot on my, I thought I was going to do it quickly. I didn't want to take my, it's always the way, like you want to do a little bit of a shortcut and you end up in a bigger mess than you were before. Good evening, Mira, nice to see you here as well. So we are covering a cabochon, just kind of want to work out a quick way how we can sort of apply a rule to it all. I don't know if we can, or if we can find a way, but we'll try. Well, let's see if I pull this through, because I stitched through. Yeah, so I'm just going to double check the number of seed beads. So 30 seed beads is a 30 mil cabochon. It's not enough to go all the way around it. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So I need to take 4 more off. That's it. And I'm going to go through the tail end to form a circle, and then we see we might need to adjust it. So what I want to do, 40, if you go any, that's going to give us 20 prongs. That might be a bit too much, so maybe we should have gone with 3s. I think that's probably the right amount there. I guess we could pull in more on the back. I'm going to go back and add 2 more, because 42 is divided by 3. And then we could go on, we could go through every 3rd bead. It will all make sense just in a second. So 42 coming through from the tail end, and I'm gonna go through these beads. Good evening, Amelia, nice to see you here. And then I'm gonna come through all of them. And what I want to create with this, and I'm gonna add a pearl on it as well, just sort of give a bit of a feature. Or we could use different color seed beads as well, but I'm going to go around it so I have a nice little circle. So usually, well, there's plenty of different ways you can do a cabochon. You can start at the side and sort of work yourself up with netting, so you would start with the largest loop. At the moment, what I want to do is to start with the front and work my way to the back. And I want to kind of have a quick and easy method to do this. So I am going to, I probably went through like 2.5 times there. So what I want to do from here, I want to be able to, let's say, I'm going to pick up, maybe it is a bit too big, but never mind. That's the biggest one, isn't it? We're taking, yeah. So maybe it's a bit too big. Maybe it should be a little bit smaller, so we can add more beads to it. I'm gonna pick up 1 seed bead. I'm gonna pick up a pearl, and we're probably gonna have to play with the ratios. I'm gonna pick up a seed bead, a pearl, and then I'm gonna pick up 4 seed beads. So if I pick up a seed bead, then the pearl's kind of going to sit right on the edge. So if I pick up 4 seed beads, it's going to be too big. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads. I think 2 will be enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through the pearl and I'm going to go along 3 seed beads. And I'm going to repeat this over and over again until I get all the way around. So I'm kind of, 4 seed beads probably would be better on the side, because this will what will join it together, but it might just work out. We might have to go down. So 1 seed bead, 1 pearl, 2 seed beads, and yes, I think we're gonna have to make it smaller already. I'm gonna go run around this a little bit. So that's 2 little prongs. Just pull these pearls closer to me. 1 seed bead, 1 pearl, 2 seed beads. Oh, very much saying guess I'm late to play. We only really just started. I am playing with some cabochons because I forever wanted to work out a way how we can quickly work out a cover for a cabochon and apply it, and not long just sort of have to a particular size, but like, because cabochons are usually carved out of stones, like there are some glass ones as well, but you have got some gemstone cabochon. This one's the hematite ones what I got here. Because they're carved out of stones, they can be a tiny bit bigger, a tiny bit smaller. Sometimes the sizing is not quite exactly how it should be. Like they do say like they can be, they can have like a 10-20% you know, discrepancy. I think that's the word. So they say 32 mil, but it could be 32 mil, or it could be 28 mil. And the difference between a 28 mil and a 32 mil cabochon, it's like a lot. So you would really see if you're using the same pattern on both of those. So I kind of want to work out a way how we can get around this to do something quick. But I do think those 2 might start it with a too big of a circle, because I kind of need, I'm just going to stop and sort of try it on, because they're going to sit towards the back. So, and then we're going to come from the back and hook into the same seed beads, sort of pulling it on. But I'm keep just sort of add it on. How many? We added 42 on, didn't we? 42 seed beads, went all the way around it. And now I'm going out after every 3rd seed bead, picking up a seed bead, a 3mm pearl, just to add a bit of decoration on there. 2 seed beads, then coming back to the pearl and the single seed bead and going along 3 beads. So kind of just, it doesn't really look much at the moment. It just sort of look like a ring with some little things coming out to the side of it, but I think it's going to come together. So sometimes we can have cabochons and we can embroider them, so we can glue them down, stitch around them, and do all sorts of amazing things. You can wire wrap them. There's so many different techniques you can do with cabochons. You can even chain mail around them. But I do think I love stitching around cabochons, and I always kind of try to sometimes doing something or finding a technique which speeds things up. I love doing it. That they always say, ask a busy person how to get things done. Or isn't that the saying? Or I'm sure there's a saying saying that, something like that. If you know, please put in the chat. Is it ask a busy person how to get things done? Or I don't know. So must be something. I think I must have heard something like that before. It's going to be on my mind all night now. So please, somebody look it up and let me know. What is the saying? So 1, 2 seed beads. Pulling this through. Going back down. Another seed. Another pearl, 2 seed beads. I think I would have liked to have 4 seed beads where I'm adding the 2 seed beads, so kind of have like a little of a net effect, or even 6. But then would have definitely had to start with much smaller circle. Maybe the idea of original idea to starting it with 30 and having it coming quite in on the top of the cabochon is not that of a bad idea. I just want to have a rule of thumb. Another seed, another pearl, and another 2 seed beads. Let me know how's your Easter went, what you've been up to. I'm just pulling this through, and I think I need to add 2 more and then we're done with this side. So it's kind of quite quick way to bead up, and then we just have to see if it's gonna look as good if it looks as good as on paper as it was when I was thinking about it. And I've been thinking about this for quite some time now. I need another pearly. And every so often I think about it, I was like, this is one of those things like, oh, I must do it, I must do it. If you want something done, ask a busy person. Oh, thank you, Michelle, that's the one. Right, so coming through those 3. Right, so I want to, do I start, I think I can just go down in one of these prongs, go through this seed bead, do I want to pick up? They're gonna turn. I think they're gonna turn. We got the totally wrong numbers of seed beads here, but I think we will be good. So how much? But no. How much do I want this to? If I put it upside down, this is gonna come around, and I want to really pull these prongs together. So I should have made these prongs longer, because I just really want to go in and add the seed beads in between. And I should have a single seed. I would have needed to have a single seed bead in the middle, which I can hook into, because at the moment it's too big and they're not going to sit the right way around it. So if I pull this up, the pearl is going to be right on the edge, and it's not gonna do it justice, I think. So I think the idea is good, but we need to start with a smaller circle, or I'm gonna try to salvage this, but I think, so if I am here coming out of one of these seed beads, how can I then turn this into pull the other side together? So if I had 4 seed beads, they could open up like little lattice on the side. So that's something to think about it. But now I just want to pull this together, to pull it over the cabochon. So if I had a single seed, if I picked up 3, I could have just sort of gone with the middle one. But because I picked up 2, we're going to have to stitch this somehow together and add the appropriate numbers in between. So I guess I'm just going to make a pattern up of, and so I reckon 2 seed beads, maybe 3 there and 1 at the top. So what I'm going to do, I'm totally freestyling this as I'm coming out of this bead here. I want to face, actually I'm going to pick up a single seed bead, I'm going to go down, then I'm going to pick up 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna come up on the next, pick up a single, I'm gonna add like a little decoration on there, single seed bead going down, and then if I do that and just see, I can then pull maybe the 2, maybe the 3 is too much to pull it together towards the back, because that will end up kind of like on the side. It might give us a nice feature. If I do 2, that might be a little bit tight. If I do 3, it might sort of buckle a bit, but it will look nice. I think, I don't know, let's go with the 3 and then we see 1, 2, 3, because if you do 3, there will be 1 in the middle. So 3 on the inner side, 1 on the outer side, which then we can anchor into. It will be too big, won't it? Just get that tail out of the way because it's already pushing it apart. The prongs that need to be close together. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go down to 2. So I'm just gonna take this back quickly, and I'm gonna go down to 2 seed beads in between, because the 3 is putting too much of a gap. I'm hoping I have not stitched through the the thread there, so I can quickly just take it back, just stitch backwards. Yeah, brilliant. So instead of 3, I'm going to add 2 on the inner side, and there we go, and then 1 on the outer side. So I'm stitching away from the purl, then I'm stitching towards the purl, then I'm picking up 2 seed beads, I'm stitching away from the purl on the next prong, stitching towards the purl on the seed bead next door, sort of creating like a cobweb here. Hello from California. Live your work, love your work. Gail, thank you so much. So coming up, it doesn't really matter because it will spin around. I'm stitching away from my purl, then I'm stitching towards my purl. Definitely going to have to work on the ratios on this one, but I think as a concept, sort of quick seed beading around the cabochon, stitching towards, picking up 2, stitching away, stitching towards, picking up 2, stitching away, stitching towards. Oh, Christine saying everyone is so nice and interpreted. Thank you. I think we do have such a lovely community online. It's really incredible, and especially the times we've been through and everybody was so supportive of each other. It's just so nice, because it's really like, you know, when the lockdown started, that's when we started the lives, and that's when we started to sort of go online and do things, and the journey has been incredible, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy connecting with everybody. Right, coming down. I'm more than halfway around now. I think it's quite pretty as itself without the cabochon. Just by adding those seed beads to creating those little curves, and I'm just going to pull it tighter. It's already, for me, it's pretty. And then we could, like, once we work out the right pattern, sort of speak, we can start working on different numbers of seed beads or different sizes of seed beads. Perhaps now, instead of 2 11s, I could have added 3 15s in a different color, just to have that little sort of spot of color around the edge. But we just need to see how is it gonna act doing it this way. I definitely imagine the side differently, so I'm gonna have to work on this And I want to go back to the, because I think we need more, a smaller circle on the front. So I'm going to go back to the original idea to pick up the number of beads, however big is the cabochon. And we're kind of going to cover up the part of the cabochon, but, and usually I try not to, because you want to see as much of the niceness as you can, but sometimes it's nice to see a lattice sort of pattern around it. So I'm just come to the last one, and I'm going to go into the single bead I added. So it's already kind of like buckling on its own stuff, which I wanted to do. So now I need to pull together the single ones. I reckon there is 4 seed beads there, to pull it towards the back of it. What happens if you make that the front? If we reduce it and make that the front, would that, how much can we pull? No, because the pearls are not kind of in the right place, so it has to be the back. I reckon if I go down, I'll just have a look, sort of just cupping in my fingers and pulling it in. If I go down to, I think 2 seed beads might be too small in between. If I go to 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go through the next one, how much will that give us? How much will that, it won't pull together enough. Let's go to 2. And then just go through that one. Well, that, then again, I don't think it will pull together enough, because we need it to pull together more. So it's kind of like goes around the cabochon just like that. What shall we do? I'm gonna put this to the side, or actually before I put it to the side, I'm gonna pop and see if I got a slightly bigger cabochon. And I'm sure I have, because I got so many different ones. If I just pick out a bigger cabochon, just the first one which kind of comes to my hand. So if it was a bigger cabochon, obviously this is not the right colors for it, but can you kind of see what I mean? Like we can have that's this one is too big, that one is too small. So I think that's the sort of size we need to go for. So the pearls kind of sit there. So I'm gonna go back to 30. I'm gonna get a different thread and quickly start it, because I think what we need to do, if we have got 30 beads on this size, which is the length of the cabochon, then we can go out on every third one, and we're gonna pick up maybe pick up 2 seed beads, so the pearl then gets towards the edge, and 2 or maybe 1 seed bead, doesn't really matter I guess how many we pick up, but then we need to pick up enough seed beads to sort of go to the back and pick up you don't want a pearl at the back, we don't want the pearl at the back, so we're just gonna have to do when I say 4 seed bead, 5, 6 seed bead, come through the 5th one. Yeah, I think I know. I kind of figured it out in my head. So let's start again with a different, I'm just going to pop this to the side, but that's what I was kind of imagining, and it went too big at the beginning, but this always happens. This is what, like, I love so much. Like, you can just sit down and work things out, and you can only work them out by trying them. Sorry I'm late. It's the life on American OTR truck driver. Oh, bless you. Right, okay. So, starting with 30, because that was the original idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good evening, David. Nice to see you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10. 15. Kristen is saying you better never stop doing these. No, I've got no plans to stop. I think I will be beading like forever. I'm sure most of you, 25, most of you done all sorts of crafts, and you tend to like, I personally think when you sort of crafty minded, you dibble dabble. You move on from one craft to another. And you know, I tried paper crafts, I tried you know, glass bead making, glass fusing, I tried knitting. Not tried, I did them, because I'm not saying I would never do them again. Painting, all sorts of different ones. But I think when I came across beading and I started beading, it kinda, I know that was my thing. That sort of just become my thing. And I think everybody has that even though you might sort of, I might go away and do a bit of knitting and then I come back to beading, or might go away and do something else and then, or sewing, or you know, cross stitch, anything that would then still come back to beading. So I think there is like something about the beads, sewing them together, stitching them together is I think my thing. So, and when you find your thing, you're not gonna stop. So I'm just gonna go through another half a time. So I'm just kind of securing this circle, and what I want to be able to do, if I'm opposite end to the tail, I can pop it on that cabochon and kind of pull it opposite direction into an oval shape, and just to see for sizing it up. So yeah, it's gonna be quite small in the middle, but I think maybe that's why it's gonna look good. So I'm gonna pick up one seed bead, I'm gonna pick up one pearl. Just gonna pop this down, take this down and see where the ends. I think, yeah, that's kind of right where I want that pearl to be. Then I'm gonna pick up, come on, go back, sit on the top. I'm gonna pick up 4 seed beads, let's say 5, 6, yeah. So I'm gonna pick up 6 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna come back through the 5th one. So the 6th one is just a turning one for our back. And I'm gonna pick up another 4 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come back through the pearl, the single seed bead, and I'm gonna travel 3 seed beads on that base circle. So I'm just creating, and then once, like now, can you see it's long enough? And when this wraps around to the back, I think those 4 seed beads are gonna open up. So let's try this. So slightly different because we just added 2, we added more this time. So single seed bead, pearl, then 6 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, coming back through the 5th and picking up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, through the pearl, and then treble and gong 3 seed beads. And I'm gonna do this over and over again. They look like little leaves, don't they? Good evening, Debbie. Single seed bead, pearl, 6 seed beads. Oh, Winnie's saying I love beading and I always did love buying jewellery. I think they're so tactile. Christina's saying I switch around crafts, love knitting, but I have such a passion for beads now. No time for knitting. I love knitting too, but I started a scarf, and actually oh, I didn't tell my bead club ladies, I have finished the scarf now. Well, I started to knit it at the end of November because it was like turning really cold, and I just wanted like a really big, very warm scarf I can wrap around myself. So I finished it at the weekend. I just need to work the ends off, and I want to sew the end and the beginning together, so it's going to be like a big O shape. But I don't really need a scarf now. But so now I'm going to finish it. So when the autumn comes, I can just sort of take it out and wear it. But it's very warm, it's very thick as well. I haven't even tried it on, like how it looks like. But then I don't really care because I made it, so I'm going to wear it anyway. Even if I look, you know, one of those, I have got another O shape scarf, which I think I got that as a present from somebody. And when I wear it, I can't remember what Christopher called me, but it was out of I think Star Wars or one or the other movies he was watching, which is like they have this big scarf at the top. Bless him. So this one is probably going to be even bigger, the one I knitted, but it's going to be warmer as well. So picking up 1 seed bead, 1 pearl bead, and then 6 seed beads coming back through the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like the idea of open edgy creating. Where's our lovely Lucy? Lucy wasn't feeling very well earlier, so I know she was just going to take it easy tonight. So hopefully she will be back next week, bless her. I was chatting with her earlier. I think this is always, it's when the spring comes, you get like this spring tiredness. When I say you get spring tiredness, people look at me like, I don't know. But I think for me, like every spring I think you get kind of depleted from vitamins and minerals because like you're eating more sloppy food at the winter, and then the sun starts to come out and you start to do more things and be more active. And I think, or I don't know, like I always get this time of the year, I get this sort of tiredness, and then sort of a better, warmer weather comes, and all of a sudden, like my energy level is just back up. So let's blame it on the spring. We're tired because of the spring. So I'm picking up, I got 2 more to add all the way around, and I will be able to test the theory if this is gonna work. I think it will. I'm hoping it will, fingers crossed. So I think I was on the right track with the first one, but just made it too big. And then it will be a case, if you work it out, or when you work it out, it will be a case of then going back, playing with different colors of beads, different size of beads. David said he felt tired yesterday. I think this weather is like, I feel like it doesn't know what it wants to do with itself. It's keep getting better and then worse, better and worse, better and worse all the time. And like you kind of don't know, shall I put the winter jackets away or shall I still keep them out? Do I need to get the springs one out or leave them in the cupboard for a while? Is a jumper enough, or shall I put the coat in the car just in case? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm just looking, because this is it. When you get around the other side is when you find out if you added the right number of seed beads to your base, like if you started the right number of these. I went for a lovely walk on Monday for nearly an hour, but in the evening it felt like 100-year-old. Oh, I know the feeling when we go. And when I go out with Rox, and she just want to keep on going. She's got so much energy. And I do feel it the next day. Because she has been in season, she's been in season for the last 3 weeks, and I think she's just coming out of it, so I think we're good now. We kind of had shorter walks and didn't really go down to the seafront, because when we down the seafront I always let her off the lead, and I just didn't want to take her down because I couldn't let her off the lead. And now she finished her season. I think we can go back down, have a nice long walk on the beach. 1, 2, 3, 4, the final 4 seed beads on the last prong. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to come back up in the next one. So I'm going to go, it doesn't matter which way you go, I suppose, but I went towards the first one. And I want to go up, and I want to be in the very tip of this bead. So the single one, the 6th one we added, because that's what we're going to pull everything together. So I'm just going to pop this on. I think, yeah, that will kind of go around it. So I'm going to turn it around. So I got 10 seed beads here, 10 ends, because we got 10 prongs. So if I just pull that sort of over it, I think we're going to hit to add 2 in between. So I'm going to put that stone for a side for 1 stack. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads. I just need a few more seed beads. 2 seed beads, 1, 2, and I'm just going to go through the next end. Pick up another 2 seed bead and go through the next end. Make sure you don't jump one. You don't leave one out. And I'm going to go all the way around, and before I get all the way around I'm going to pop the stone in, but at the moment it would be just slipping out, so I'm just going to leave it on the side for a sec. Make sure that tail is not in the way. So just picking up 2. So effectively the back will end up with 30 seed beads as well, because we're picking up 2 and we're going through every single end. So that's 2 plus 1 times 10 is 30. So we see, I think we could make this, we could have had 5 seed beads there, so we could kind of play with it in that way as well. It's pulling together nicely. So 1, 2, going through this, 1, 2, this, and then I'm gonna have to come 1, 2 through the very first one. So I'm just gonna pull it out a little bit so I can find, and because it's sort of connected to one side, I want to come from the other side of that bead, so pulling it on its side. Let's just have a look. How are you on your side? There we go. So I'm gonna go in there. So I'm going to go through the first section again. I'm going to go through it all again. So before I pull this tight, I'm just going to pop this cabochon in, and then I'm going to pull this tight, and I'm going to see what kind of sort of happens around it. So let's just pop that needle down for a sec and see if it evens out, or would we have needed, and I don't think we needed another seed bead in between. Definitely have to work on the numbers. I think if you added an extra one, if you added 5, it would be perfect on the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around this because it's trying to pull apart. So I need to reinforce the back, and I'm going to go around these seed beads 1 more time. And each time when I'm pulling it up, so I'm going through a section and pulling it tighter, and it will even out. So I reckon if we had maybe an extra seed bead at the end of the prongs to make them just a tiny bit longer, would have been the right size. So we're almost right. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. Let me just go through a few more, but we have got a gap at the back. So this is what we need to work. We know the method is works, and it will be really easy to cover other sizes as well. that thread cord this way, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, maybe even having a prong after every second bead, not every third bead, because we come out of, so maybe we could have done with a few more. So if we had 10, we would have had 15, we'd have had an extra 5, and I think that would have gone around it nicely. But I'm going to turn it around just in a sec. I just want to sort of get around it and pull this nice and tight, and then see, it did tighten up. I didn't think it's going to tighten up this nicely, but those should be kind of sitting there. So I think an extra 5 would have been nice. So the back is nice and tight now. Just going to go through a few more beads, so the thread definitely can't travel backwards, and then I'm going to turn it to the front. Yes, that's our tail end. I think another 5 would have been nice, and if we had another 5 in, maybe it doesn't need to be longer because it's kind of pulling it. Let's just pull one to the top, and then we will have one at the bottom as well. I think that's quite a nice quick way. So the first side where we went wrong is we didn't add enough. Didn't add enough on there. I think more prongs. So instead of 10, I think we should have had 15. After every second bead, we should have come out. But then again, like this is again, you once you got our pattern, which is working, then you go back and rework it with like coming out in different number of beads or doing different things. So the whole idea is, so the 30 mil, I started with 30 beads. I'm going to test this week. The 25 mil, I'm going to start with 25 beads. The 20 mil, I'm going to start with 20 beads, and I'm going to see what happens if we can have a sort of standing a standing order in there between the sizes, because what would be really nice if we have got cabochons, which is like these hematite ones, relatively inexpensive. They're from 50p to 75p, and I think the biggest one is £1. No, 25 by 18. That one is a pound. 125 is the biggest one. So if I had a necklace which had this one in the middle, and then I had maybe 2 smaller ones going to the side, I think that would look really good. Maybe not. Maybe we can go with the tiny ones as well. But if it had, I think that would make a really nice necklace. Let me zoom out a little bit. But for that, we would have to encase each one of them. So when you are encasing 9 cabochons, you could bezel it in so many different ways, peyote stitch, all sorts of different ways, but it's all time. So if you find something where even perhaps if you're using a bit more inexpensive materials, you want to make the necklace quicker, and it looks, and I think it would look really good. And then if we could connect them up into a necklace, either a V shape or a round shape, or you could have that one as a drop at the bottom and then they're going up. But for that, we would have to encase each one of them. And I kind of, the way how I like to look at it, so I quite happily spend ideally half a day making something if I want to make something. If it's really special, I don't mind to spend a day on it. But if it's anything longer than that, I think sometimes it just you just feel like it has to be very, very special then. And with cabochons, the only trouble is just they do take a long time to do. But I think this would be a really nice way to quickly sort of link them up. I will have a look. I will have a little play this week. Maybe go down to 15s in the middle. Maybe that would look better with maybe a microcrystal in between. I don't know. I will have a little play with all sorts of different beads. But we know the method works. Right, everybody. Have a beautiful week. I will be back next Wednesday morning on Totally Beads, and I got a special guest coming up. I am teaching the bauble soon, so check the bauble one out on the website. This, I really love this one. I'm going to show you. This one is my favorite one so far of the baubles I've been doing this year, because we've been doing one bauble every single month. I really love. It's sort of St. Petersburg stitch, but not quite. So you have to check that one out. That will be a class coming up on Zoom in a is it next week? Oh, I don't know, I haven't got my diary in front of me. If the diary is not in front of me, I honestly don't know what's going on. And even if it's in a diary, usually I forget. I'm so bad. Right, everybody, have a beautiful week. I'm back on totally next Wednesday morning, or Charleston just looking, yeah, or I will be back next Wednesday night. I don't know what we're going to be playing with. I will have a little play with these cabochons later on this week, and I'll pop a post up if I come up with something solid. Everybody have a good evening, and I'll see you soon.